Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sanity stream, the place where you go to gain a little bit of your sanity back in what has become a minefield known as U.S. American politics. My name is Lucius Cole, and thank you for joining the Cole Factory today. If you like this type of content, go down below, subscribe, like, share, and of course, leave a comment and let me know what you think about today's episode if you think I've earned it. With that said, let's get in today's show. We got a spicy one, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Chauvin. That's right, Derek Chauvin, the man, the police officer that put the knee on George Floyd's neck, is out on bond. This is posting as of a few hours ago. Absolutely crazy news. Let's get into the story. Derek Chauvin, former MPD officer charged in killing of George Floyd, released from prison on $1 million bond. Nuts. Derek Chauvin, one of four former officers charged in the killing of George Floyd, has been released from prison on bond, according to Hennepin County records. Chauvin, who has seen widespread video with his knee on Floyd's neck, was released from the Minnesota Correctional Facility, Oak Park Heights, at 11:22 a.m. I'm currently shooting this at 3:22 p.m. Eastern Time. Under the conditions of Chauvin's release, he is required to follow instructions of probation, is not allowed to leave the state, is not permitted to possess firearms or ammo, and is not allowed to contact Floyd's family. This is huge news, ladies and gentlemen, and I expect riots in the streets tonight. We are going to see once again Black Lives Matter and Antifa all over the United States of America. Every major city is going to be a catalyst. There is going to be sparks. There is going to be fires tonight. Hopefully it doesn't get too chaotic, but once again, we know exactly what's going to happen. The same thing that happened during the Breonna Taylor case, when a man actually went out and began firing at police officers. I can expect, and you can expect, that these things are going to happen once again. Absolute insanity, but once again, are we not surprised? This is actually really nuts, and this is the spark that started everything that's going on in the United States of America. Of course, George Floyd and Derek Chauvin with the knee on the neck. Absolute insanity. Let's just pray for our officers out there tonight. And of course, if you are living in one of these major U.S. cities, if you haven't been smart enough, or perhaps you just simply haven't had the equity to get out of there, do so now, or at the very least, make sure you're boarding your home and keeping yourself safe, and making sure you have your fishing pole at your nightstand when you go to sleep tonight. Let's continue. Following the fatal arrest of Floyd, the former officer was held at Hennepin and Ramsey County jails prior to being transferred to Minnesota Correctional Facility Oak Park Heights. According to the DOC, the Oak Park Heights facility is the highest custody level in Minnesota's prison system. Many of the inmates of the prison need a higher level of security. Yeah, of course. This guy has a death warrant out for him, and the fact that they're releasing him, not allowing him to have a weapon, he better be out in hiding. There's no way he's going back to his former residence. His wife has already left him, and honestly, I'm not sure if that was symbolic. I'm not sure if they already had trouble before. His wife, they were pushing that this man was a white supremacist. His wife is actually, I believe, she's Asian. She's East Asian. So for a guy that happens to only love the white race, he sure picked a weird partner. But again, they are divorced, and hopefully this guy is able to stay safe tonight, because if there is anyone that people want to go after right now, it's this guy that started this entire dumpster fire that has been 2020. With that said, let's keep going. Chauvin has been charged with second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in Floyd's death. The other three officers previously posted bail amounts of $750,000 and have begun free pending trial. Currently, all four men are scheduled to face trial together in March, but the judge is weighing a request to have them tried separately. What I find the most ironic about this entire debacle is the fact that this guy has a $1 million bond, but the other three guys, no knees on the neck, nothing like that whatsoever, they are sitting at $750,000. That is insane. So for only a $250,000 more, you could say only, of course $250,000 is a huge sum of money, but with that being said, this is the actual guy that had the knee on the neck, and yet he was only $250,000 more in terms of his bail. So that's a little weird in terms of the consistency there, and honestly, I'm wondering where he got the money from in order to actually go through with bail. I'm not sure if there has been GoFundMe's for him. Pretty much everything that has been out there for trying to support this particular police officer has been struck down by every single social media site. So I'm not exactly sure how he was able to accumulate this money. It would be very interesting to go into that. With that said, in terms of my own specific beliefs of what's going on right now, I actually watched a video specifically talking about how his original toxicology report showed that he had a lethal dose of fentanyl in his system, and that if they had found him without, any other uh, outlying circumstances, for example, the knee on the neck, that they would have presumed that it was a fentanyl overdose. There was actually a video that was released by one of the lawyers from one of the other police officers that purported to show that he had a bag in his mouth that he was chewing on right before he was taken out of the vehicle. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really glad that this is going to be happening in March. Of course, a lot of these riots are going to be going down regardless. But this is this is going to be the trial of the 2020s, at least to start us off. And really, I have no idea. It could go either way. If it goes by the rule of the mob, then this guy's going to get some form or faction. You know what's going on. But again, the Breonna Taylor case, none of those officers faced any repercussions. One did for shooting, I guess wildly, but he actually pled not guilty. So we'll see how that develops as well. With that said, let's go into the next story. Next story, NBC News actually ran a segment that was stating that these were undecided voters. That's right. They were saying that these people that were at this town hall with Joe Biden were undecided voters. But after just, I don't know, a quick little search and going through their clips, they actually found out that these people had already gone to show that they were supporting the Democrat candidate Joe Biden. So this is just fake news on steroids. They couldn't even actually find real undecided voters. They simply just took people that they knew already liked Joe Biden, threw him a couple softball questions for him to answer, and then they're going to state that they're undecided. This is true propaganda in its purest form. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Undecided voters. Peter Gonzalez has next question.
Welcome to Miami, Mr. Vice President.
Go.
I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and I've been living in Coral Gables for the last 20 plus years.
Got Peter
We get
Gonzalez.
4 more years of Trump. Good luck. And good luck with the future attracting younger voters.
Let's go to Ismail.
Like what? They show a clip back in August of the same exact man saying that he was a Republican. Now he's an undecided voter, and now he's back again in October. I mean, this is absolute insanity, and Donald Trump actually retweeting this clip showing that MSNBC is absolute fake news to the maximum capacity. What a joke. Honestly, what a freaking joke. Let's continue.
Eliano, who voted for Hillary Clinton 4 years ago, but has voted Republican in the past. What's your question for Mr. Biden?
Mr. Vice President. Things that Joe Biden said during his speech that resonated with me was, what defines America as possibility.
Mateo Gomez.
What? These fake news are so sloppy. It's not like it was like back in the 1990s and back before the internet era. You can't just hide this stuff. There's 4chan, there's Reddit before it got completely cucked, there's the Donald, there's Twitter, there's basically cameras on every single political aspect of life. And you're going to push out these people and say that they're undecided voters when you have previous segments showing and highlighting the fact that they aren't. They're just, this is fake news. Fake news. And honestly, this is a great clip to show some of your normies who are like, oh my God, I was watching MSNBC the other day. And honestly, after the whole Russian hoax debacle, how the heck can anybody watch MSNBC? Isn't that Rachel Maddow, who was pushing the Russian hoax for 3 years only for it to end up being a total nothing burger?
Joins us now. First-time voter, came to the U.S. from Colombia at age 2. Welcome.
Spent a lot of time in Colombia.
Thank you, Lester, for the introduction.
After watching the debate, Mateo Gomez told us he really didn't feel like he got a whole lot out of it, and it really did not do a lot to help him.
If you had to pull the trigger and vote for someone tomorrow, how would you vote?
Probably Biden in this sense.
Game, set, match. Like, Jesus, these guys are so lazy. So lazy. This is back in September. It's like they don't even care. This was what, October 5th and September 30th? This was less than a week ago. Oh my God. No, a week ago. Yeah. These people are so lazy. They're not even covering their tail. They don't care, and they know that this type of information isn't going to get out to the public. Donald Trump actually tweeting it, and that is the way that we have to fight this fake news. Unfortunately, the president has to be the one to go out there and fight this narrative tooth and nail, because nobody else is going to cover it. The mainstream media, whenever there is a major breaking story, they go out of their way to try to poo-poo it and act like it's not a big deal when it's a huge deal. Whenever there is a real, true, honest news story, they don't do any digging. They don't do any investigating. Honestly, it's all independent journalists at this point. It's news personalities such as myself, not to self-aggrandize, but also it's people like Tim Cast, it's people like Adam Cast, it's people like Salty Cracker, The Quartering, Officer Tatum, you know, all these great people and these wonderful minds, not all on the right, by the way. You know, we have disaffected liberals, we have disaffected progressives, we have centrists, we have people that simply see what's going on, and it is absolutely insane that this is what our media has become. And it really does. It makes you ask the question, you know, a lot of people, I hear a lot of people saying like, oh my God, like, guys, fake news is so bad today. But I really do. I want to look back, and it really makes me wonder, because you saw what happened during the WMD scandal with Iraq and George Bush. So it's like, how long has this been going on? You know, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, Cuban Missile Crisis, like all sorts of stuff. Like, you can't even tell what's real anymore. And this is absolute insanity. These are corporate globalist hacks that do not have America's interests in mind, and yet people continue to put them on the front lines. And then these fact checkers, now they have fact checkers out there too. So the social media sphere, the place where we grew, the place where our community thrives, is now under attack by these people that have nobody that's actually fact checking them. And a lot of times they throw a fact check on something and claim that something was said in a particular segment or a particular video that wasn't even said, and then they put it on there, and then that video doesn't see the circulation that it would have, you know, seen otherwise. It's absolute insanity. I don't know. Something has to be done. We do. We need Section 230 reform at the highest level. And the problem is too, is like, there's so many rhinos that people are still getting behind. People like Jim Jordan, Trey Gowdy, these people are not your friends. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, these people only care about power and their own interests. Stop supporting these people. Honestly, and this could be a 4D chess move, it makes me wonder if it would make sense to actually, and this is crazy, this might sound a little crazy, but hear me out. What if these candidates that are deep state hacks that have been in there forever, that simply based on their name recognition win election after election after election, what if we let them lose? We simply let them lose. They lose that name recognition, and a Democrat comes in, takes over their spot, and then we bring in the Lion Party to take over. Because I would love for the Republican Party to be the heart and soul that is America. You know, freedom, liberty, First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, to the maximum. Free speech extremists to the maximum, to the gills. I would love that. But, oh God, there's just, Trump is surrounded by deep state hacks. And this is a big problem I've had with Trump, is that when he campaigned, he brought in outsiders from all over. And then the moment he got into the presidency, he surrounded himself with the same swamp-like creatures which he claimed to detest. We need new blood. We need more outsiders. Trump is an outsider. We need more outsiders like him in positions of power. Because what we're doing is simply not enough. Trump can't do it all, and he has all these rhinos and all these deep state hacks constantly whispering in his ear. I mean, the man had John Bolton on his cabinet. That should tell you a lot. On to the next story. New Jersey postal worker arrested after allegedly discarding nearly 100 ballots. But guys, voting by mail is totally safe. It's not as if the U.S. Postal Office, or I believe one of their unions, if not their union, actually went out and endorsed Joe Biden, did they? Oh, wait. Yeah, they did. So now we're expected to give our ballots to the people who who have been told that Joe Biden is their man. Absolute insanity. A U.S. postal worker in New Jersey has been arrested after allegedly discarding nearly 100 mail-in ballots. 1,875 pieces of mail were retrieved from a dumpster in North Arlington and West Orange, New Jersey on October 2nd and 5th, according to ABC 7. Nicholas Buchanan, a 26-year-old from nearby Kearney, was charged with one count of obstruction of mail and another count of delay, secretion, and rejection of mail. The recovered pieces of mail included 99 ballots from the upcoming U.S. presidential election. The discarded mail also included 276 flyers related to the local town council elections. I don't know how they think they're going to be able to get away with this. There is going to be such a like just a bloody trail, a bloody mess behind them. And honestly, with as divided as our country is now, we cannot, for the life of us, we cannot have mail-in ballots right now. We need to know that our democracy is working, that our republic is still intact. Because if there is any foul play, and there will be foul play, if there is any major, let's just say major foul play, and it is proven, then we are going to have the most dysfunctional republic the world has ever known. Because people on the right are sick and tired of watching the cities burn, watching these politicians do absolutely nothing about it, the news media saying absolutely nothing and covering the tales of BLM and Antifa extremists. I mean, it's going to be chaos, and I really don't want it to get to that point. I want us to all come together and see what we have in common, and unfortunately, I think it may be a little too late. Okay, you're probably wondering what this is. I don't like what is the message here? So you post on Twitter, and then you have a GIF, which I'm assuming the campaign manager of Joe Biden pushed out, that says, "Get off Twitter." I think we've broken these people. I really do. I think we have broken these people. Despite all of the censorship, despite the fact that right-leaning people consistently are the ones that are banned, despite the fact that these monopolies and tech oligarchs are extremely far left-leaning, almost leading to the point of communism, if not already there. I mean, Jesus, like, we are winning the culture war on the internet. Now, that's not to say we don't have power, the institutional powers. The schools are still filled with a bunch of commies and lefties. The corporations are now embracing this woke ideology. The courts are still filled massively with a ton of lefties, and even the people that we get in on the right, like Edwards, for example, and even Cody Barrett, who a lot of people seem to be thinking is going to be this benign, amazing woman that's going to go in and clear house on the Supreme Court. I think the people on the right, including myself, I'm not going to be shocked, but I think a lot of people will be shocked to see that this woman is not exactly pro civil liberties that you think she would have been. She was for the lockdowns. Now, you really have to look at this. I mean, this is just going to be another Edwards on the court.
Charging battery.
And it's all going to be bad news bears, just to let you guys know. And this sucks because I'm going into another terrible story. Now, we can disregard the polls all we want, but the fact of the matter is they are real. You know, people are being called. Are they being truthful? That could be a totally different story, but these numbers are not that great. Now, I don't even want to go into the general, because if you look at the numbers in terms of the general, Trump is apparently losing right now by about 12 points. So, these are the battleground states. Take a look. Now, like I said before, I'm not trusting these through and through. Like we saw last year, there was a bunch of skewed data, and of course, Trump ended up winning through the electoral process, losing the popular vote. And I think that may be what happens again. But we can't completely disregard these numbers, and I'm really praying that enough people are awake to see that what Joe Biden's going to do to this country, and let's just be honest, Kamala Harris, because that's who's really running the show here, or will be running the show, with her puppet masters behind the wheel. I mean, let's take a look at this. Florida, 4.6. My based Florida, my ultra based Florida going to Joe Biden, that would blow my mind. I'd be really shocked. I haven't seen a single Biden sign. I saw my first Biden shirt the other day. Funny story. Just a quick personal story. When I was at work, the man that I saw wearing it, he was a veteran, and he had taken hook, line, and sinker that story from the Atlantic that stated that Trump said that soldiers that had died during World War II were losers and suckers. And he had it on the front. It said Biden, Harris, and then on the back it had an American flag. It says, soldiers aren't losers and suckers, they're heroes. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, please no. I don't get how you can see a story like that and believe it full sail. I mean, the cognitive dissonance that you have to believe in order to think that blows my mind. Blows my mind. But again, Pennsylvania, Biden up 7. Michigan up 6. Wisconsin up 5. North Carolina up 1. Arizona up 3. These aren't looking good, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I am very, very fervent, and I'm doing everything in my power. You know, I'm posting a video every single day in hopes that it would just reach one lefty. And you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? You know, are you out there? Are you on the interwebs throwing yourself around and showing people the light that is conservatism? Are you showing people that fair trade is the way to go? That bringing back manufacturing into America is the best way? That peace through strength, building up our military while not actually having to use it and signing peace deals in the Middle East that has been at war for thousands of years? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there is a path forward. And honestly, the coof that has gone around has really hurt Trump. And there is zero focus on Biden. He has basically done zero in terms of pushing out his candidacy. And you know the media is going to be protecting him roughshod. So we have to be out there pushing our message of peace and prosperity and showing us, you know, we really do. We have to be reaching across the aisle. I'm all for the memes. I'm all for, you know, smashing on these crazy radical leftists. But we have to get the centrists. We have to get the center left and the centrists to say, hey, look, this dogmatic evil ideology is going to lead to the deaths of millions of people. And of course, you don't have to go full sail. You know, you can start very, very simple and just, you know, kind of like feel them out. But we have to be bridging the divide because ultimately it's going to be bad for us. And it's going to be very bad for America if Joe Biden ends up winning. I wasn't sure if I was going to follow this one. Yeah, you know what? Let's skip that one. We're going to kind of stay on cue here. NBA. We're going to finish up with the NBA, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who don't know, the NBA, their ratings are in the absolute tank right now. They are at the lowest, I think it was since 1992 or something like that. Oh, no. Actually, the lowest in the history since they started doing NBA ratings. That is insane. So let's take a look. It says, new poll says NBA ratings have plummeted because of racial justice protests. No crap. And you know what's crazy is all of these media outlets saying, I just can't figure out why people aren't watching sports. It's so freaking obvious, and they refuse to acknowledge the elephant in the room. They refuse to acknowledge it. And it's absolute insanity. You know exactly why people aren't watching sports. They're sick of the wokeness. They watch sports for the escape. They're not watching it so that they can have their politics dictated towards them every single time you pass half court and have to look at Black Lives Matter. It's insane. Nearly 40% of respondents in a new Harris poll said they were watching less basketball because the league has become too political. Obviously. NBA ratings had dropped even more than the NBA took a hiatus in March and have since grown since the league resumed play. Still, the league has been facing declining viewership over recent years. The league has become too political, boring without fans. 19% who said the association with China, which is huge. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you get when you get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. It's obvious, and these people refuse to acknowledge it. Now let's take a look at what Mr. Adam Silver has to say about what they will be doing in terms of Black Lives Matter and their slogans in the following year. Are they going to continue to embrace this woke ideology despite the fact they are losing millions and millions of dollars? Let's take a look.
This was an extraordinary moment in time when we began the discussions with the players and what we all lived through this summer. My sense is there'll be somewhat a return to normalcy, that those messages will largely be left to be delivered off the floor. And I understand those people who are saying, I'm on your side, but I want to watch a basketball game.
Duh. Obviously. People don't want to see Jacob Blake, an alleged rapist, on the jerseys of these people. They don't want to see the absolute hypocrisy of putting gangbangers and killers that were shot by police on their jerseys and on the helmet. Like, all sports, the only thing that seems to be safe is MMA. And it's honestly the only thing that I've been watching or watching highlights of whatsoever. I mean, when you put woke ideology and you put politics in sports, sports is supposed to bring people together. It's an escape from reality. It's an escape from politics. It's an escape from the trivialities of life. And when you are pushing this agenda wholesale, literally writing Black Lives Matter on the court that you watch every single time you pass half court, you have to read Black Lives Matter. Every single time. And then the players have it on their jerseys. This is the same exact. Black Lives Matter has been burning, looting, and murdering 30 plus people dead since the death of George Floyd. People's lives uprooted, over $2 billion in damages. People's lives destroyed. People assaulted. People killed. And for what? What have you accomplished? Nothing. Nothing. Black Lives Matter, their approval rating was in the 90 percentile when George Floyd died. They are dropping like rocks. People want nothing to do with this. And believe me, it will be another 4 years because Black Lives Matter, nobody cared about it. It will be another 4 years. The moment this election's over, the moment it's over, Black Lives Matter will be gone, and they will rise once again 4 years later. If you enjoyed this episode, this was a longer one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm aiming for longer. I'm aiming, for something that you can listen to maybe on your way to work. Maybe you're working. Maybe you're going to the gym. Something that you can just chill out and listen to. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you do, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about today's stories. If you think I've earned it. I will see you in the next video. I will see you on the next podcast. This is the Sandy Stream with Lucius Cole. I love you guys. Peace. Coltrane. Choo-choo!